Hello folks, how are you guys doing? I'm here with Feroz.
Hello, how are you?
I'm fine, thank you.
Great.
And we're gonna talk about business English today, something that you always ask me. You have curiosity about it, and he's gonna help us with some questions I've separated already. So you can learn more about business vocabulary situations and how to do it if you wanna get a job abroad. Well, I'm gonna ask the first question. What do you do?
I am the owner and manager of an online e-commerce business.
Oh, nice. And how many employees does your company have?
We have 11 employees.
Yeah?
Yes.
And do you hire people that, do you hire foreigners or just American people?
No, we'll hire foreigners if they can do the job. We've had, we actually have a Brazilian software developer. We have people from Mexico.
Okay.
We've had Brazilian customer service staff, and yeah, I think that's it in terms of just Brazilian and Mexican.
So in Brazil, people have been saying that there are many opportunities for developers. Like many countries have been offering them jobs and they're paying in euros and dollars, so it's really interesting for people who are studying it in Brazil. Do you have another vacant or occupations related to that, like app developer or other kind of coders or people who work with business intelligence or something like that?
Currently, we don't have any vacancies. We do have one full-time software developer, but for all of our other needs, we typically outsource. So we'll work with possibly other people in other countries or other companies. Rather than hire somebody full-time, we'll work with individuals or companies that can do our projects part-time.
Okay. So the foreigners who work for your company, they work part-time only?
No, for example, the Brazilian individual does work full-time for us.
Okay.
Yes, and he's our lead software developer. He manages all of our software and our systems.
Do you consider it easy for a foreigner to get a job in the USA where the company pays for the visa?
Yeah, absolutely. If you've got skills that are in high demand in the United States and you're talented, then it's much better for them to bring you from overseas and pay for your visa than try to find somebody locally. So this is actually what we did with our lead software developer. We actually found him maybe 10, 12 years ago online. We gave him a project. He was living in Brazil at the time. We did a good job. We gave him more projects. He continued doing good work. At some point, we flew him to the United States to meet him. Worked together for some time, and then some months after that, we offered him a full-time position to come to the United States to live and work here. So this is how we found him. We sponsored his visa, and then we sponsored his green card.
Oh, very nice, interesting.
Yes.
Okay. Another thing I wanted to ask is, how do you usually do the interview? Is it presentially, online? How does it work most of the cases?
So it depends on how we find the individual. So right now, for example, we're hiring customer service staff, and we'll post a list of requirements on the job site. And so typically the job sites will screen the individuals. They have to answer certain questions, how many years experience they have in various different things. Some people lie, some people don't fill those things out, but typically the first layer is the job site. And then if we like the answers to their questions and they apply, we'll do a phone interview. And in a phone interview, we'll ask high-level questions and just get a feeling for how they speak, how they handle themselves. Because, for example, the customer service, you need to talk to customers. So if you're speaking on the phone, you're nervous, and it doesn't look like you'd be comfortable speaking to somebody that you don't know, then that's an indicator that maybe they're not right for the position. But yes, you screen over the phone, and then if they answer all your questions correctly, then we'll bring them in for an in-person interview and ask them more questions.
Okay, what kind of questions you usually ask?
It all depends on the position, but with customer service, we ask them how comfortable they are speaking to customers that may be upset, they may be angry. A lot of times there's something wrong with their order or something wrong with the payment. And so we'll give them scenarios to see how they would handle specific situations, especially if somebody's very upset. Because if you can't handle a stressful situation, if you panic or you get angry or you get defensive, then for a position like that, it wouldn't be right. Otherwise, we ask them about their past experience. If they provide a resume, which we typically require, we'll ask about their most recent positions, what they did, what they learned, that sort of thing.
Oh, very nice.
Yes.
And if you're gonna hire a foreigner, which level of English do you require from them to work for your company?
It depends again on the position. If it would be a customer service position, and they're only handling tickets through the computer, then as long as their written English is I would say on a good level, then it's acceptable. But if it's somebody that needs to speak on the phone, for example, then it needs to be fluent.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah.
Otherwise, if it's a software developer, for example, and they're only developing software, then I don't think the English doesn't need to be as good as say a customer service representative, because they're not speaking to customers. They need to be able to interact with management, but not necessarily interact on a daily basis with customers.
Okay. If you would have an advice to give for Brazilian people who want to work abroad, what would you say to them?
Well, if you're asking about learning English, and if you're coming to the United States or any country, I would say it is important to learn the language. Now, depending on the profession, you may need different levels of English, but it's definitely good, I think, regardless, to speak the language of the country you're going to. Otherwise, I would say look at the jobs and the positions that are in demand right now. Technology is always in high demand. It's very hot. Any positions in medical professions, there's always high demand. So you need to fill a void that is needed right now. If you're gonna come here and work in a restaurant, well, there's a lot of people that can do that. So
you're not essential.
Yes. So just look at the markets where there's high demand, and I would say definitely study that. Maybe get some experience locally, and then apply for positions overseas.
Okay, that was very nice. Thank you very much for your interview.
My pleasure.
Okay, bye-bye guys.
Bye-bye.